We all came from a woman, carried, molded, birthed because of her. But none of us begins without a man's seed. That balance, man and woman, it's the jumpstart to life. But what happens when we question the rules that shape us? Stuck between two different worlds dives into the deep cracks beneath society's expectations. Monogamy, love, marriage. Were we really meant to be with one person forever? Or are we just playing roles we've been programmed to believe? 70% of women don't love their husbands. They love the idea of marriage. And men? Many just chase the thrill and then stay for convenience. Where's the truth? Where's the real connection? We flirt with our thoughts. We cheat with our eyes. We dream of others while lying beside our forever. Who made these rules? Religion? Government? Or society afraid of freedom? This book doesn't give you all the answers, but it asks the questions most are too afraid to face. Can you love more than one? Can she have two soulmates? What if the truth isn't what we were taught?
Audition, so I'm not gonna do the spill. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know the trailer for Stuck Between Two Different Worlds is out. Got a lot of positive feedback from it. Everybody keeps asking when the movie's coming out. There's no timeline. There's been talks, like I said, I had a deal prior. Numbers would look good on both ends, but I didn't like how the characters would be portrayed, or more so particularly what they would look like, race, ethnicity, stuff of that nature. So it has to be perfect. So that deal I turned down. So these things kind of take time because you could have the script, the screenplay, the trailer. You got a funds of probably like, okay, let's pitch this to this place and maybe Netflix or whatever, and then we get a certain amount of funds here, and then shooting and location. It's a lot,
It takes a lot, yeah.
because then you gotta understand that if it's independent,
Mm-hmm.
then how many people are you gonna pay for the actors and stuff, and then breaks and then payroll. It's a whole job.
Finding the actors.
Yeah. So payroll, all of that nature. And these are the things that the executives are taking care of and the producers. Because the directors gotta get paid too, and then the actors. It's a whole line. So when you look at a film, right, and then you see the credits, most people don't pay attention to the credits, first of all. But when you see the credits and you see story writer, story editor, supervisor of video editing or whatever, and then there's an assistant, and then there's the executive, like three
Mm-hmm.
people of a hierarchy for the same job, and then you have executive producer, and then you have producers, and then you have actors, directors, co-directors, like
There could be multiple producers too, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So it's a lot for that, and that's like a big film, like
Mm-hmm.
theater and stuff of that
Mm-hmm.
nature. But independent, where certain platforms like Apple, what is it, TV, Netflix, Tubi,
Hulu,
you know, lower budget. You know what I'm saying?
Peacock. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Peacock. There's so many platforms. Pluto TV.
YouTube TV.
YouTube TV. So many
Mm-hmm.
platforms. That are available. So it's not one, two, three. So I just wanted to put that out there because education is paramount.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh, when is this gonna? It's been, nobody's ever said this to me. It's been this long or whatever. Like, what's going on? But everybody, including my parents, keep asking me when is it coming out. And now I'm educating people.
Mm-hmm.
Because you look at it on the outside looking in, you think it can happen like this, but when you're actually
In it.
inside,
Mm-hmm.
you actually see all the nuances and the things that happen that are beyond your control.
Like
Let's
behind the
say you
scenes stuff.
have actors or actresses, maybe single moms, and then that's a situation. Oh, well, this can't happen around this time because I don't have a babysitter. And then now you're
Mm-hmm.
being second.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like you were dating them. They're choosing you second. I mean, which is understandable. Family comes first. But then there's so many factors that play into it not coming together. So it
Mm-hmm.
is really a whole team effort thing where is one goal. It has to be that mindset, one goal. So, when it is pitched to the executives and stuff of that nature, it needs to be the right it needs to be the right thing too. For example, in the past, I don't care how good she is. If she has a problem with the Dominic character and she's saying that he's chauvinistic and she wants to empower more of the women, which I do empower them, but he gotta be the king. If they're not willing to do that, the deal's off.
Oh,
You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm stubborn.
like somebody who comes to you and says, "I would love to do your movie,
Mhm.
but he has to. Let's rewrite him and
Yeah.
make him more nice."
Make him
That's
a
a
little
no. Got you.
softer
Yeah.
and da da da, not
Mm-hmm.
so masculine. And
Right. Right.
I'm no. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that has happened too. So it has to be like, and I'm not saying a man has to direct it. A
Mm-hmm.
man has to be the executive producer. If a woman is gonna do it, she gotta be about that.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? She gotta be about, yeah, women are strong, but they also have their place.
Mm-hmm.
And when a man is involved and he's as strong as that, we can do that. Not, oh, let's make women strong at the expense of emasculating men.
Mm-hmm.
Because most films today are like that. So I'm
Or at the
trying to
expense
stand out.
of changing your project around, like your movie.
Yeah.
No way.
So
I
that's what's going on.
I also wanted to state.
It's not like I couldn't get a deal or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is. Divine timing. I believe in that.
Oh, me too.
But go ahead.
I was gonna say, we had brought a director on the show, a couple of years ago, and he even was telling us how difficult it is because he also was independent, how to get the funds ready and how to, get all the actors together. You know what I mean? So it's not, a lot of people do think, oh, one, two, three, it happens, but it's not. You have, like you said, who's gonna come with the best offer, with the best deal, and who's not gonna try to, snake you out of your own position in it. So thank God you are the type of person that reads
T-
meticulously to the very dot of,
to
contracts and stuff.
to be yes, and I
Mm.
have
I know.
attorneys too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not for me. It's not like the money's not the top priority.
Mm-hmm. That I know.
Like I know what my project is worth. I know what I'm worth, and I know how I'm going to negotiate. However, it's not the top priority. It's about retaining the integrity of the actual project
Mm-hmm.
too. So it's not like that's the bonus, the money. So it's not like, you know what? We're gonna make this movie $50 million
Mm.
and you're gonna get a percentage out of that. Let's say 2%, 5%, whatever, 10%. And you'll get $2.5 million. You'll get $4.5 million, right? Me
Mm-hmm.
as the author. If I could get that, but also retain that whole makeup of how it is, yeah, we gotta change it up a little bit, incy bit. Build some type of suspense in
Mm-hmm.
certain ways so it's not boring. Okay, but can they retain their identity? Okay, then it's great. But for them to be like, you know what, we're gonna make this 80 million, 100 million, and you're gonna get 20 out of that. You're gonna get 15. But, you know, Dominic, we're gonna make him bisexual.
What? That's
So
not even close.
we will have him like be masculine and dominant and stuff, but he also has guys because you added the poly in there.
Mm-mm.
So now there's something I'm losing.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's something I'm losing with that. So like I said, it has to be in direct correlation with like us all wanting to be at the finish line, but this way. So I'm open to things, but I need to be in there with the creative control, with the creative team. You know what I'm saying? Adding certain input.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? So that's what I mean. Like, so sometimes you can't have both. Sometimes you can't have money and then retain that principle of the whole project in yourself, and how you want to make it. Some people don't care, what I'm saying, they just go with it. But to me, it's not, the money's not the priority, because it don't matter if they even said, yo, we gonna give you 150,000. I could flip that into 1.7. I could flip it into 2.5.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's not so much about that. It's about that, when I have children one day, and maybe they're old enough and they do want to read this, right? They do want to get into that lifestyle on their own or whatever it is, and I'm educating them. And, now that you have the education, you have the choice, because circumstances don't necessarily give you choice. If you have the education, now you can decide where you want to go. So once if they do choose to do that, and then they actually see the film, it's not, and they're proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not questions like, well, why was this different, Daddy, from what you tell us and how it is over here or whatever. Most of the time it's like that, but I don't know. I'm a guy that believes that I could have it all.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm always open. I'm always open to receive.
Are you
Um,
open for questions?
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
But
That's that guy.
first, before we get into everything, this is once again a special edition. So, bonus episodes go on Patreon. Sometimes we do special editions after finales. And this is a Stuck Between Two Different Worlds, Book 5 by yours truly, EL Discipline, special edition. We haven't talked about my books in a few
Mm-hmm.
seasons.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of getting lost in the topics, which is great. But, you know, people tend to forget because I do this podcast thing. They kind of lump me in there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh. I think it's kind of funny. Don't compare me.
Definitely
You
not.
know what I'm saying? So I think that sometimes, like Kendrick Lamar said, you gotta pop out and show niggas.
Mm-hmm.
So remember who I am and what I do. So I don't want people to forget that because I do this podcasting to lump me in. Oh, he's red pill because he's saying what they're saying. No, correction. They're saying what I'm saying.
Yep.
Because I've been talking about this stuff since 2014. What have they been doing? A lot of them probably weren't thinking like that. And I'm not throwing shade. I just want to talk like this because most of the time people see a platform and they're like, wow, millions of views. They said it first.
Mm.
And then they see a platform that has 16K and they're like, they're copying them.
Mm.
So I just want to put that out there that sometimes it's not the notoriety that's
Mm-hmm.
saying it first.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like Denzel said one time to a news reporter, you had to check him. Oh, so y'all don't care about facts. It's just about who's getting it first, right? Who's
Mm-hmm.
putting it out first.
Yep. I saw that.
So, I just want to put that out there too. Like, don't get me lumped in. I'm out of the bunch. When I say I'm different, I really mean that. When I say I'm one of a kind, you gonna think I'm lying. But get in tune with my mind. Then you gonna see that I'm not lying. And then in direct correlation, yeah, he really one of a kind. Everybody else just says that because it sounds cool.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But you got a different spirit in flesh here. So I want to bring people back to who I am and what I do. One of the things I do. Um but yeah, now we can, get into it.
All right. Well, you already answered one of my questions, which was I wanted to go through like what number book this is because you have 7 published books. So this is number 5, but is this number 1 from the trilogy?
Yeah. So
Oh,
this is considered prequel.
okay. Um how did you come up with the idea for this book?
See, this is one of the things you do your best at.
I'm
When I
I'm an
read.
inquisitive person. I need to
Mm-hmm.
ask questions.
Yeah, it's good questions. Good questions.
Like, how did you come up with the idea? How did you come up with the characters?
Yeah, so man, you know, when I wrote, let me see, my third book, it was the first book, The Seduction of Discipline, autobiography, BDSM education,
I
and
was
then
gonna go
second
through them.
second book, The Importance of Discipline, Self-Help.
Mm-hmm.
Third book, I did the sequel for the Seduction of Discipline, but now in a novel form. So for me, it's like, you know what? I was like, you know what? I want to be a multi-genre author. Once again, I don't like
Mm-hmm.
to be lumped in with everybody. I take pride in being different. I take pride in being out of the bunch, the outcast, the black sheep of the family. You know what I'm saying? I take
Mm-hmm.
pride in that. So I said that I didn't want to be just looked at, oh, he's a dominant in the BDSM lifestyle. That's all he is. That's all he talks about. So, I wanted to not just challenge myself, but show people who I really am, what I'm capable of, what I'm can do, what this lethal mind is capable of. So I was like, the next book, horror. Then
Mm.
after that, I was like, you know what? I want some type of relationship.
Okay.
So I've always been polyamorous, and I didn't have a problem in the past by telling the women I was with or dating that,
Okay.
and I think the way I approach my relationships, when women have a problem with you being poly, it is a control thing. Now, this might just be subjective perspective, might not be true. So what I'm getting to is I've seen women control dudes and women have never been able to control me. So when I've been able to say that, maybe they weren't cool with it, but they didn't show it, but they were just like, well, this kind of caliber of a man I can't control here.
Okay.
So I might as well just take what I get, be fortunate to be here. Some have articulated that, others have not, but they never left because I was like, oh, well, I talked to this person too and whatnot or whatever. Most guys hide it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came up with it's a prologue, right? Kind of like an introduction
Mm-hmm.
where it's saying that, we all came from a woman, nourished, molded from a woman, but um, nothing starts without the seed of the man.
Mm-hmm.
Paraphrasing, not verbatim. They could read it if they get the book. And then I'm talking about monogamy. Were we
Mm.
created to be monogamous? Or is this a social construct? Not verbatim, once again.
Right.
Um, and then, I'm really diving into it, right? Where through the course of my years, late 30s now, observing, experiencing, seeing women that are married cheating, um seeing men, witnessing it, hearing it, out with boys, and we're at the club and his girl's calling and he's running. Dude, why don't you just tell her, like, why you gotta go through all this stress? He's making up shit. He's outside talking about, oh, I was studying. Oh, what's that noise in the back? Oh, open the window. Real good at it too.
Mm.
Real good. You know, I'm like, dude, she caught you already a couple of times. She's still sticking around. She subconsciously she like it. She's not going anywhere. Why are you still like running? Why are you still hiding? Why are you still doing so? These are experiences like people that used to be in my circle back in my club days. I don't hang out with those type of people anymore. Um, Eventually those people showed their true colors, and they did.
Mm.
You gotta look at it too, right? When a dude like that can't be straight with his woman and doing snake shit and she be ride and die for him or whatever, you can't trust him. But I'm young. I'm still learning.
Mm.
I'm older now, wiser. You can't trust him because he gonna do some shit to you like that too. Eventually,
Yep.
it is like a foreshadow, pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
Books. It is like a foreshadow, a pivotal scene, plot twist. It will happen. You know, so um part of this is like just knowing your true nature. So yeah, there are some women who are polyamorous, not by nature.
Mm.
You know,
Not by nature?
not by nature. You know,
Interesting.
forged through trauma.
Oh, okay.
You know, but I believe that the polyamorous nature of men is intrinsic. You know what I'm saying? It is that. It is innate. You know, because we see it. Even if you don't believe what I'm saying, we see it through celebrities, their friends, their parents, their uncles, aunts, their whatever, brothers, sisters. They see it even in their circle, not just virtually, not just through film. They
Mm.
see it happening. You know, so it's common now due to trauma for women to just believe, oh, all men cheat. All men cheat. They're using wrong context. I think it's all men are polyamorous.
But
They're
if they
just
don't,
diving into their nature.
but
But a
if they
lot,
don't
though, it's
tell,
cheating because of the truth not being told. You know, so I was like, I think it would be dope to have one man have two women who are prominent in his life. But let's not make these women regular. You know, let's not make these women regular. So I I was like, I was writing. It was so fluid. I didn't get writer's block. Oh my God, I did 5 books in under a year. I don't know the duration of time, for this one,
mm,
but it was so effortless, as if I was writing my life, but in another universe. Like I'm weird. Some people will
mm-hmm,
say, I
mm-hmm,
don't believe I'm weird. I want to be correct. Words are powerful. I'm unique with how I think. I think there might be multiple me,
mm-hmm.
different life, different partners. I probably in that other life was married to a Sophia, had those type of children. So I'm childless currently.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just thinking, like, as I'm writing with the pen, those spirits being present
Mm.
to make it easier. So sometimes I've said stuff like, avid supporters will know this. It will sound familiar to you after I say it. When I'm on the mic, it's not me.
Mm.
Same thing. So, um, those were inspiration. Those were the reasons. I thought it would be dope, but I didn't want to make it just boring. Oh, romance and infidelity and whatnot. Let's add some thrill. So the wife and the husband have an ex-Bonnie and Clyde relationship, but they're legit now. Let's talk about their past a little bit. And then it's like, how does he meet Estrea? So Sophia and Dom, ex-Bonnie and Clyde relationship. Estrea completely different from the streets.
Mm.
So how did they go about if he's this guy stuck between two different worlds? That
That
concept.
that's where you got the title from. That's very good.
So it's like it's an irony because I don't believe this. Like I don't believe a person to be like playing both sides of the fence.
Mm.
Like I've said this in the past. Um, I'm a modern traditional person. No, no, you resonate with one more than the other. The one you resonate with the most is what you are.
Mm.
So even in the book, there's a split. It's vertical. You see, the top is like a businessy
Mhm.
look, and in the bottom you can kind of associate it with like maybe social event, club, probably.
Mhm.
Stuck between two different worlds. And looking at this cover, right? I'll make it pop up on the screen. People can look at, oh, I'm cordial at work, the top.
Mhm.
When I got some liquor in me and I'm at the club or whatever it is, yeah, I'm a different animal. I'm very professional at work. On the bottom, when I'm in the bedroom, I'm a monster.
Mm.
You see, so it's like in those type of contexts too, you can use it in every different avenue. You know what I'm saying? I believe. I don't believe that there's two sides to people. I
Mm.
just believe that we just put out certain things to remain what they are. Robert Greene, the guy that the author for 48 Laws of Power.
Mhm.
He had an interview. He said people aren't really authentic, and I'm paraphrasing. Excuse me if I'm, misspeaking or not saying the right thing or what he was saying, but I'm paraphrasing just from memory. Um, he said people aren't really authentic. I'm like, I can't stop at this. I gotta hear more.
Mhm.
I gotta hear him defend himself of why he thinks like this. And then he was breaking it down on, well, we put out what we want you to see. We are a certain way. We act a certain way at work due to policies and whatnot. I'm paraphrasing once again.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
So I don't believe it. I believe that where you could be the most vulnerable is who you are.
Okay.
You're a governor in a state. You're dominant there. You're putting out fires on a day to day. You want to make everybody happy, which is the worst thing to do. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? You want to make everybody happy, which is the worst thing to do, but you're not doing the right thing because you want to make everybody happy. So you're doing all that and whatever it is. You get home and you're submissive there in every way,
Mm.
especially bed. Stick something back there, tie me up, spank me, whatever. It's a stress reliever. To each their own. However you want to do it, it's whatever you want to do. Oh, I got through all this stress during my day to day. This is my stress reliever. I'm just calling a spade a spade. You're not that dominant governor.
Mm.
Where you are with your woman in private is who you really are. And if you like something being stuck back there, you could be questionable. You haven't come out the closet yet. So that's who you really are when you see somebody behaving a certain way because they're inebriated. For example, maybe they're a little bit more aggressive. Maybe they're a little bit more
Flirty.
flirty.
Mhm.
I was gonna say horny, but that's better. Those are better
You
terms.
said, I mean, you said it anyway.
So you're really like that.
Mhm.
You just need that to give you that courage. There is a such thing as liquid courage.
Yeah.
So I don't believe it. So I thought it would be interesting to make the main character, Dominic Jean, Lorenzo Jean, um, have that type of ideology. You know what I'm saying? And behave like that. I thought it would be interesting. But you will see throughout the book, he doesn't fold to Sophia, even though Sophia is dominant herself. So
Sophia,
that common denominator of like dominant, he's true to that, no matter the circumstance. But you do see him being different with both women.
okay. Do you remember when this book was published?
2018,
Yes.
June
Do you remember?
25th.
Do you remember how? Not how. Well, I guess how the book started out, like how you started it.
What do you mean?
Well, because you're talking like you're saying that the main character Dominic Jean, but you're throwing around Sophia and Estrea.
hmm
I just wanted like maybe if you can give them a background on who Sophia is, because you didn't say
Oh,
that. You just said him and Sophia have a kind of Bonnie and Clyde relationship from back in the day. So
yeah.
they know that it's somebody he knows from back in the days. But
Yeah, so Sophia's a high school sweetheart
okay,
for Dominic, right? Um, just so character analysis, real quick. She's quick-witted, dominant, aggressive, oxymoron sensitive gangster.
okay,
She is ambitious. She what you would consider the masculine woman
okay,
of today. Business oriented, super family oriented, ride or die, synonymous with the highest level of loyalty you can have for someone,
and she is what to him?
his wife.
Okay.
So, you know, they could find out why he married her
Mm-hmm.
because if they see how he interacts with Estrea, they're gonna be confused.
Okay, and who's Estrella?
So she's the opposite. Well, no, no.
So close.
Well, you know what? So, Estrea, I will correct that. She's not the opposite. She is just a lot more controlled.
Okay.
And ancestor.
I know they're like, don't forget us.
And I tried to get it earlier, and then like it was hiding. Now that I'm recording, it's yeah, he's coming out because he knows that I'm not gonna leave and
You're
get
too
him.
busy now. Yeah.
But I'm gonna get him. Anyways, I digress. So she has similar characteristics of Sophia. She just knows how to control it. Sophia doesn't give a damn.
Okay.
That's the difference. And somebody who doesn't give a damn is a hothead. So that's how I describe her too. So and people will see how Estria is that way in the third book. There's still unfinished business. So it takes some time to get there. But like I said, people just reveal what's inside already. They're just controlling it. Okay, so she's ambitious too because I have her as a RN manager, registered nurse. So they're both, when it comes to social economic status, they're at the top.
And she has her own business too, right?
Yeah. Shoe company, if I remember. With Estrella, right? She's pretty much, we can say, to summarize, dominant in her day to day. But with Dom, she doesn't bring that energy.
Okay.
And people are gonna be like, this is fiction. Because that's not something that would exist.
Okay.
And
What do you say to that? What do
I
you
could
say to
say from
that?
personal experience, it
It
does.
is okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had women like this before I knew of these terms, like masculine women, dominant. I've had them. So I think that when I always talk about the man is the leader, that the woman will follow that, especially if she's interested in him, trust, respect. that's building that attraction sees a future, she gonna change her character because she knows she got no choice. You gotta get along to get along. She might not like say it in that type of context, but subconsciously she's thinking that. I gotta get along to get along. He's the boss. I appointed him that. I want somebody superior. I'm not dating a joker. I'm not dating a clown. I want to feel proud of my man, so he gotta lead. Why would I be equal with him? I'm not gonna be proud.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so powerful women like this are also orgullosa.
Mm-hmm.
In Spanish, prideful.
Yep.
You know, proud. So they're like a woman that's proud is gonna think like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want my man to be, he's the shit. So because it makes her feel prominent too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's powerful. I'm with him. It makes
I'm
her feel
powerful
powerful.
too.
Exactly. So, you know, there's more control on her end, not with Sophia. Sophia just doesn't give a damn. You know, so I think they're kind of two of the same. It's just, you know,
One is more
one
advanced, let's say, mentally.
emotionally.
Emotionally. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
emotionally. Because I use hothead to describe her with the character analysis, Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a hothead, you don't have emotional intelligence. So you can't pick up on things when they're happening, when stressful situations are occurring. You can't be rational. That's part of emotional intelligence skills. You don't have great discernment skills at the time, too. You cannot even identify your emotions to know how to navigate. You know what I'm saying to them? You're just reactive. You know, so I believe like the character of Estrea, I did that, which is like fashion around the submissive too. You know, because I'm also in this lifestyle, so I know how characteristics of a submissive. So that's why like she's also that, but you only see it with with Dom. You see, in the book, I don't really go in depth of how Estrea is at the job. There's a one or two scenes showing her direct the other nurses. It's quick to kind of like show her in that leadership role. But you see more Sophia at the salon, at this, at that,
Taking care of home.
taking care of home. Yeah. You see it more. Is there more stress because of it? Because Estella has children too. Or a child.
Wait, when you said if there's more stress because of
Because
it,
you would think
stress
that
with who?
you would think that, okay, most women would say, I gotta go out there and hustle like a man and then come home and do that. Like, duh, she's gonna be in her masculine. They're not taking accountability. They're gonna say her circumstance is making her that. And then I'm saying that, well, Estella is a single mom.
Okay, and she doesn't bring that energy to him, you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's more about the individuals,
Okay.
you know, which I did this to make them different for the interest. I'm not saying I like women like this. Like I like variety. Oh yeah, let me get two black women or two Latinas or two Asians, but one is like rude and aggressive, even with me when she gets mad, call me out my name. And the other one is very submissive. I like that because I need balance.
Right.
I need her to talk back sometimes. No, I'm not saying that. Sometimes people will get the misconception of that because I wrote the book.
Yes, wait. I have a question about that. I'm happy that you brought that up. You said that you've had like women like Sophia, masculine women, right? And like mouthy type. But the ones that you just described right now. Have you also had women like Estrella? Which is more how you said she's more, well, I guess, yes, because you said you're in the lifestyle and she based her off of what a submissive would be like.
So I've had women that were mouthy like Sophia. Um, it didn't last,
Mm.
you know. And then yes, I've had women like Estrella,
Maybe not like 100% like
but
Estrella.
not 100% like
Okay.
that. Because the way I created Estrea is she's not a submissive. She's a slave. So she's
Mm.
elevated, which on Patreon I'm gonna talk about the difference. Not gonna do it here. That's for BDSM content. There's a difference of submissive and slave. There's a difference of dominant and master. There's a
Mm.
hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So just like in the conventional or modern world or whatever you want to say outside of BDSM, vanilla world,
Okay.
right? We'll say like king and queen.
Okay.
So just real quick, so people could just understand, because the term is triggering.
Mm-hmm.
Slave in BDSM is equivalent to queen in vanilla.
Okay. So it's like the
So
top.
just to give them, yeah. So that's the thing. So you gotta understand, in that regard, you're giving a lot more. You're way more subordinate, even if you don't agree.
As a slave in the BDSM word.
So that's why I didn't see, when I make this prominent, powerful man, he's not dating regular women. I wanted to make that like known. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
put that in it. Like, it's not like, okay, I got this wife who's maybe a queen in like vanilla world, and then I'm dating a hooker in the escort facility,
Right.
or the stripper,
Mm-hmm.
or just like, even if Dom was dating the bank teller,
Mm-hmm.
her character embodies that whole goddess and divine.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I wanted to make that known, that it's not just socioeconomic background.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And status and stuff of that nature, notoriety, that's making these women prominent. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. So maybe have people asked you, is this book based on your lifestyle? Like, is Dom a dominant, or did you make it
Yeah,
specific? He is a dominant,
yeah,
and he knows that he's a dominant, but is he in the BDSM world?
yeah,
He is in the
yeah. He's the
BDSM world.
master.
No,
Yeah.
in his own world though. Would he consider his life or his lifestyle part of the BDSM lifestyle?
Like, for example, like his jobs, the businesses, with his colleagues. Like, what do you mean? Like,
I mean,
outside of that, his world outside of that, or his
outside.
BDSM world?
Well, so in the BDSM world,
Mm-hmm.
um, is there a difference between business and personal relationship?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess what I'm asking is, in the book, he is part of the BDSM world, but not with the business, not with his businesses, just in
Not
his
with his
personal.
business.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So you got to understand, the BDSM world, he shares that with her.
Estrea.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that's like private.
Okay.
But so, even though it's private, you see it publicly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? How she addresses him publicly. And you know, he knows, because remember, he retains his character by still bringing the dominant, which is the major component. Because even if I'm living this different lifestyle, am I this? Like, I saw a guy that was saying he was a dominant, but then he said, but I identify as a cuckold. You know what that is? We talked about it a
Yeah,
couple
I
of times.
think he likes to watch or hear about his woman getting
Yeah.
sex by somebody
And
else.
that's a trigger for him to fuck her harder or
Okay.
dominate her or whatever, like a competition.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think you're gay
Okay.
if you like that. Like,
Okay.
how is it that, pause, ladies and gentlemen, this is the adult show. Kids, go to bed. Like, how is it that you get off hearing about another man? That's gay. So your dick gets hard hearing about another man.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that, I'm giving you an example.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, being said in that regard, he's not a dom. He
Okay.
just probably does that for work, like the governor. Goes back to the governor situation.
Got you.
So with Dom, even though he's sharing that exclusively with Estrea, he's still dominant.
And everything else.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you see it in his job,
Mhm.
with his colleagues.
Mhm.
You see it with his wife still, even though she gives him pushback.
Mm.
You see, so it's very important that, it's so many twists, so many contradictions to this character.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But he stays true to who he is, just like she stays true to who she is. And then they have a common denominator, protecting the family and the Bonnie and Clyde relationship, no matter the differences.
Okay.
So maybe that's another thing too, why it helps them like retain their relationship or that bond,
Mm.
you know.
You said earlier in the
Did I
segment,
answer the questions?
you're doing very well with the questions. Thank you very
No,
much.
because I'm thinking like I'm
No,
going
no,
away.
no,
Going,
no. I will bring you
um,
back in. You had stated earlier in the segment that you do not have any children yourself.
mhm.
Okay. I have read the books. In these books, in particular, you make the main character have children. How easy or hard, or rather, was it easy or hard to write? How it would be to be a dad, and where did you like pull that from?
Good question. Um, so a lot of people read the book too. You ain't just a
You ain't
special
special.
one.
Yeah, but I'm asking the question.
hmm Um, well, it's all it's all an uphill, right? You know, and everything that you do in life for a greater purpose, I believe. So I help raise my sister's kids,
Mm,
help raise my brother's kids. You know, man, I believe animals and children receive me well.
mm,
They love me. So I think that I wrote how he would interact with the kids as if like they were my children. So I
mm,
put myself there. Like I put myself in the book. I put out into the universe. I've been on numerous interviews in the past
mm-hmm,
when I was when I was publishing these books to promote them. And I've said that I've mirrored Dominic around me. Not to a T, but for example, the certain things that he would tolerate, I wouldn't. But I make that for the interest of the book. It would be boring.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? It makes it last longer. Like you know that you can't catch the villain in the beginning, because
Right,
then you ain't gonna have 10 seasons.
right.
It's only season 1.
Mm-hmm,
Like let the shit build. Let the nigga get his shit off. Pause. A few seasons.
mm,
Then the 4th season you start to catch up to him or whatever. You're midway there. So it's the same thing. Like the book would end. It did, like my books are page turners,
mm,
jaw dropping. You know what I'm saying? Like stimulating.
mm-hmm.
You're reading it and you're feeling it. So you know, I have Dom interact with the kids as if I had them. They were my children, and how I would interact with them. You know.
Going back, reading the books, is there something that you would change about it?
Also, how I saw my dad,
Helped you
my
be.
grandfather. Yeah.
Mm,
So
that's
I
nice.
remember a lot of things. One of the most powerful things about me is my mind.
Mm-hmm. I'm
So
sure. I'm
I
sure everybody knows that.
I can remember things from like 8 years old. They could go back to
Amazing.
episode 29, Lazy Lovers.
Episode 29. We're on episode what? 180 some?
We just finished 187,
To go back to so they can see it. Which episode was it? You just said it. 29?
29.
Incredible.
Mm.
So you mentioned that you kind of fashioned Dom after you. right? And you just said right now that you fashioned how he would be as a father with your own experiences with your nieces and nephews and how your father and grandfather were. Are there specific people that you fashioned the other characters on, like Sophia or Estrea? Well, those are the only other two that you've mentioned so far, so we'll stick with those for right now.
Yeah, the women I've dated, interacted with, were in relationships with, um,
Is it like a blend of them? Like
yeah,
you take this from this and that
mm-hmm.
from that, and you make one whole person. Is that how it went?
Yo, everything. See, as a writer, right, and it's not just an author, because anybody could be an author. You don't have to write the book. Co-authors,
I
you
guess
heard of
so.
that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody could be an author, but a writer is paramount. A writer is just it's intrinsic. Like you can't escape it.
Mm.
You can't escape that. That's in your nature. As a writer, every interaction, everything we observe could be in a book,
Mm.
could be in a caption or something. So I'm utilizing all my experiences from the streets, through the house, through my ethnicity, my race, the women I've dated, the corporations I've been managers at, the bosses I've had, to now being a boss. All these things I'm retaining. Remember my memory?
Mm-hmm.
Remember my mind?
Mm-hmm.
So, when it comes down to now pen and paper, smoke that blunt, slow it down now. Because it's racing.
Mm-hmm.
Slow it down now. Now let me compartmentalize. I remember, boom, boom, and I start getting into it. Now I'm creating novels. I'm creating stories. So they're from experiences. They're from all of these things, and experiences of observation too.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Things I've seen with both my parents before they were reverends. My father
Mm.
was into some shit.
Okay, so you said that you fashioned him around you. Not totally. So are there things about Dom that you don't like? Maybe even despise, I will say? Or do you like everything about him?
Yeah, the things he tolerates.
That you don't like. The
Mhm.
things that he tolerates. Okay. If you could
And
go back, but
and it's funny because, like I said, I had to make this interesting. Spoiler alert! Like, make sure you read the book.
press pause right now, go read
This
and come
this
back.
book does not last if they don't go back to Miami. The
Mm.
guy the guy they hustled the club from years ago. Sophia's pregnant, and this is how I pitched the executive that made them say, "Wow, she was pregnant." The Italian club owner. They don't know he's a couple in the
Mm.
most prominent uh, family.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know that. So this is where Sophia plays a factor. And I've put this out there already, so it's not a spoiler. He brings her with him as like, well, you're like my consigliere. You're like my advisor. You're
Mm-hmm.
like my second eyes. You can see things I'm not gonna see. Woman intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Move in ways a king can't on the chessboard.
Mm-hmm.
So, but reality is you don't bring women in like men business, like in
Okay.
that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But their relationship was different. Like you don't see women in the mafia family. Like you don't see them when they're having commission and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
board meeting. Um, but in that regard, like he brought her as like my second eyes.
Okay.
She's pregnant, right? And then she's going through the mood swings. And then she is saying to him, I brought the ratchet. Not in that context. And now they get into an argument. Why did you do that? Da, 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 da. This is, we're not gonna need this.
Mm-hmm.
I've already talked to this guy or whatever. Now the meeting, the guy is very straightforward. And I said I did this on purpose because I'm a guy that operates on shock value.
Okay.
And when I was sitting in front of across the table from the white executives, I wanted them to feel a type of way when I said this. So the
I know what you're talking about.
the Italian, he doesn't identify himself as that, right? As a capo, right? He says, listen, you're unique and you're talented. And your expertise are impeccable. But I don't do business with niggers. Not nigger, niggers. So Dom is strategic, right? He's mad, but he has emotional intelligence. He's always thinking steps ahead, like chess. So he's playing human chess. He's gonna figure out a way how to retaliate, get revenge, because he doesn't like the way you talk to him, and you're gonna get away with that. He's gonna think of different avenues, like for example, oh, maybe I'll buy this club. I'm the landlord, you're my tenant. Ha ha ha. Now you got no choice but to do business with a nigger or leave. He's different. He's getting away from the street life. Remember, that was their childhood. He's grown up. So he's operating in a more corporate world, how white people operate. So, but Sophia is still stuck on the street. So Dom says, okay, being cordial, we could say fake. All right, I respect that. Shakes his hand, about to walk away. My husband may respect that, but I don't. I don't like that. And then now it's you know how these old school mafia guys are. They're like male chauvinists. I like them. So now he's checking the woman. Like, what? The audacity of you talking to... We're having man shit right now. We're having man conversation. The audacity of you talk in man shit? You're just here to listen, like, know your place. Not that directly. But shit, when the movie come out, we could do that.
Oh, yeah.
Flip it a little bit.
Yep.
So now she pulls out the ratchet and puts it to his temple. And it's like, well, now you don't have to do business with us. You're going to sign everything over to him and us. Or I'm going to make you famous tomorrow on the news. I don't say it like that, but I say I'm going to make you famous tomorrow. People could use their imagination.
Right.
So that's how they got part of their rise to power. He's talking about going back. I know I talk a lot. I get to an end goal. This is the end goal. He's talking about going back. Oh, that guy in Miami that we hustled 12 years ago, before you had Raina. He's doing numbers over there. Maybe we could be partners. She says that. I don't think that's a good idea. That's what I don't like about him. Because Dom is known to be strategic and calculating. Why would you think that's a good idea, Dom?
Yeah.
Like, he says, he counters. That's 12 years ago, Sophia. We could all make money, right?
I guess you have to read the book to find out.
Yeah.
So 7 years after publishing this book, is there anything that you would change about it or change about the characters?
Hell no.
No.
Mm-mm.
No, because this is the first one in the trilogy, and the other ones it just
Listen.
gets better and better. You see, he said so too.
Yeah. So I don't really know how the fuck it got in here. Like, did it appear out of thin air? Sometimes they be doing that. Like, please, ancestors, don't come in insect form, because I'm gonna exterminate you.
That's what I tell them.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take care of you. And I don't want to do that. Because you're probably being sent here from a higher power to deliver a message. So let me do this show real quick. So the thing is, I was able to implement myself, immerse myself into these characters to write them. You know what I'm saying? And I had to get into my feminine side for Estrea. I had to...
Was that hard?
Yeah. But I've interacted with more submissive women than modern women, more traditional women than modern women, more submissive women than dominant women. So even though I've interacted with both, I know where the stamp is. So I was able to utilize that past experience and interactions and implement it in the literary content. So I think that I loved all the characters I created. I mean, we go even more in depth. There's Maria, there's Miguel, because Dom is also like the real estate investor.
Yes.
So there's a scene of him going to Dominican Republic to show a villa to this family. The Maria and Miguel are married. Maria finds Dom attractive.
Okay.
So what Dom picks up that she's wearing the pants there. So he's like, damn, in order for me to close this deal, I gotta woo her too.
I gotta close that deal too.
So what he's doing is he's like innocent flirting. He's also telling her about the property, not just the buyer, because even though he's the buyer, he's gonna spend, she's the one that got the most influence. So he's realizing that, oh, she got the most influence. If she says no, it's no. So he woos her or seduces her mentally to now she's like, baby, honey, we should get it. I don't know, Karina, I don't know. Baby, we should get it. Amor, por favor, we should get it. Now in that she's influencing him, and she's doing the little thing that a most feminine woman that has influence over men and she knows how to manipulate. She's touchy and just touching his shoulder, rubbing on him, like being
those
very
little taps.
very like you gonna like indirectly you gonna get some pussy tonight if you
Lord,
do
child.
this. So he's like now reconsidering.
And these are older folk, if I remember correctly,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So he wants that anyway. He's like, oh, I haven't gotten a minute.
Yeah. So Miguel is partners with Carlos. I think that's his name, Carlos. Yeah, Carlos.
Yeah.
And Carlos owns multiple establishments, not just like venues for clubs.
In Miami or New York? Because I know it's
I think
right.
Dominican Republic
Oh, okay.
too. I think so.
Nice.
Yeah, because Dom had to do multiple trips back and forth to New York and DR.
And he recruits Estrea, right, for helping him with Maria, or was that Sophia? No, Estrea, right?
That in the second book.
No, hold on. See? I'm jumping across.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a good chess move cuz like me, I don't fight women. So I like to use this sense of it's eventually the conniving Maria brings that to Dom, and she owns certain establishments holding over his head because the contracts wasn't signed. I don't want to run through it, let them read it. I just want to give them an idea for the second book. So now it's like, oh, if you want this, you gotta blah blah blah. So then now he's like, damn, I'm like a slave again. I'm trying to be independent. Can a black man be independent? Damn. So now it's like, well, I'm not gonna fight you, but I'm gonna fight you in my mind. Estee, I got a job for you. Can you help me out? So now it's woman versus woman, and who wins? Well, they're gonna have to read the second book, Strong Bonds Never Break, to see who wins.
Exactly.
And it's not a physical fight, ladies and gentlemen. So me, I don't fight women physically or verbally. I don't believe in debates. Kings educate, they don't debate. You know what I'm saying? So so I implemented that fashion too. What would I do in that circumstance? But that's the second book. We'll probably talk about that down the line. But also other character, maybe if the film, we would do extras like the bodyguards, the the Uber driver or whatever.
Or even the waitresses,
Yes. So there's a lot. There's the car
the
chase
cops. Yeah.
with the dirty cops. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of activity happened in Miami more than New York and DR. No, DR, a lot more activity in DR and Miami than New York.
Yeah.
Like where they live is like where a lot of white people live. Like I would say like Midtown or or is it like if it was Brooklyn, it would be like Dumbo,
Oh yeah. Well, now.
Manhattan, Soho, or
Mm-hmm.
Tribeca. You know what I'm saying? Like where I have them like living
Mm-hmm.
in like whether it's a I think it was a mansion, penthouse, I don't remember.
I thought it was a penthouse. I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
So and then they bought a mansion.
In
And so
Connecticut or something? I
I don't know.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So so now there's so many scenes, so many scenes, and I think the fun part to me was the paper trail to the infidelity. Like I had to do a paper trail. It wasn't just gonna be let me catch you. No, it was gonna be a paper trail. Like I know what I'm doing.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I may have never wrote books before, but now I'm a master at it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first wrote this is the second novel, but more of implementing this type of relationship dynamic and other dynamics as well, all in one book. I knew that I wanted to keep the readers to continue to turn, to continue to turn. I wanted to keep the readers guessing. Nothing in my book is predictable.
That's true.
Especially There's Still Unfinished Business, book 7, the trilogy of this. Nothing is predictable. Like you think you figured it out. You want to be cocky and you think you got it. And then you're like, damn, he got me.
Wrong. Yep.
He got me. Damn, I thought I had it. So I love to do that. The paper trail was great. Like I didn't make Sophia a dumb woman, but in a fashion of, well, he's a club owner and he probably have girls around, but she had the mentality, even though she's dominant, right? She had the mentality of he comes home to me, which most women think that's dumb. There's a scene with Lisa and Sophia at the cafe.
Lisa.
Lisa's another character. I just remembered that now because of talking of that scene where she asks her that. Why are you still around? You got your own money. You're independent. What?
Lisa.
Like what? You could make millions without him. Why are you still around? He comes home. So by her seeing certain paper trails, it was just like, all right, I'm gonna keep mental documentation of this. Because if it remember, if it was just a fuck, it's coming home to me. He's coming home to me. Whatever it is, it don't mean nothing. But if it's consistent, I should worry. Should it be a second wife and whatnot? Or now because some women that maybe engage in poly in denial think like this. And will my water be cut off? Like BMF Lamar cut water. Like will my water be cut off? Like will he become my supply? Cause goddamn, I was getting a good per supply and benefits. Now it's gonna be divided equally, or the third party. Shit, that's what it was 100. Now it's gonna be 50. Now it goes down to 25, maybe. So sometimes they think like that indirectly. They may not verbalize it. So with her, she was telling her, oh, I'm confident. He's here, whatever it is. And those words came out of her mouth in regards to that to shut it down. So even though that's her best friend of so many years, whatever, she knew her before Dom, she still defends him in a way. But
stand by your man.
She will talk shit and get aggressive and be argumentative in front of him, but behind his back, when that motherfucker, hey, that's still my husband.
Yeah.
So it's I throw those in there because remember, they never lose sight of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, earlier in this segment, I said ride or die, highest level of loyalty, no matter what. And she might be loyal
And
to
she
a
proves that, yeah.
fault.
Mm-hmm.
Loyal to a fault. Because it's not in your best interest to be loyal here, but you can't help it.
Mm.
Even if you're gonna get fucked up,
Yeah.
you can't help it. So you can even say she's loyal to a fault. But it's just who she is. Regardless if you would do it for her as well, she's not looking at equal in that fashion.
Mm. Do you have a favorite character?
You say it on purpose because but you want them to know, right?
I'm sure they're wondering, do you have a favorite character?
Who's my favorite character?
Nuh-uh. It's not my book, sir. I am not the
Okay.
author.
I think you know because I've said it a lot. Yeah, Sophia.
How interesting.
Yeah, woman, right?
No, not even that it's a woman. It's a woman like Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about why she's your favorite character. I'm talking about the fact that this character is mouthy, answers back, talks back, has a lot to say, is very gruff. You know what I mean?
She's
But now, please, yes, explain
Yeah.
why she is.
She's my favorite character, then Dom is my second. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do not get this misconstrued, especially the ladies, because they don't like to listen. They listen to a couple of things
Write
and
it
then they
down.
forget about everything else. Listen to the whole thing. Okay, don't just favorite character. All right, let me take notes. I gotta be a bitch. I gotta be this. That's what he likes. Listen to the whole thing. So as directors, executives, writers, we sometimes have characters that are counter to us that we don't like. We create characters sometimes we don't like, but they're interesting. They're money makers. They're innovative. You know what I'm saying? So Sophia's my favorite character. There's a but. She's not like somebody that I would like date or be with. So you got to look at two types of people here: the writer and author, EL discipline, and discipline beast, the dominant.
Okay.
So the writer, that's his favorite character.
Why?
That's the alter ego.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's the alter ego, the writer. Born dominant. I don't like her.
Mm.
So you got to look at it Superman wise, right? And then we'll get back into it. Spider-Man, Batman, they all wear a costume for their alter ego, correct?
Yes.
Superman is unique. What's Superman's alter ego?
The reporter guy.
Clark Kent.
Eso. Clark Kent.
Yes, because you got to understand that was Batman born Batman? He's Bruce Wayne. So he wears a suit and he changes his voice.
Mm.
So he turns into something. Spider-Man, the fictional radioactive spider, he got bit, but he has to still wear the suit, right? To be able to do all those things, even though he could still climb on walls, but he just looked weird. Imagine you doing that at the Daily, where did he work?
Planet.
Daily Planet.
Mm.
No, that was where Clark Kent worked. Right?
No, he did too, because they're from New York.
So imagine if he was doing that there.
Mm.
Superman has to wear the costume of Clark Kent to be that what is everybody else to make comfortable.
To kind of be normal and blend in.
Yeah. So he acts clumsy, he acts weak, he acts insecure to blend in because that's the normal person and how they act. They're not sure of their actions. They don't know where they're going to be. They're not confident. Superman, on the other hand, is all those things, but he got to act, right? So we're looking at the dominant, born, that, and the writer.
Okay.
So the writer is like the Clark Kent.
Okay.
So he loves Sophia, favorite character. Superman, the dominant, No, I would never. If I knew all her characteristics, sitting with her on a date, I would say, nah, thank you. Have a good day.
So then is
Good luck with your
Estrea,
future endeavors.
and you need to go back to one
You
of
know,
our older segments too, episodes too, because that's a nice way of cursing you out.
what?
Good luck with your future endeavors.
Oh,
So then is Estrella someone that
I would date.
Discipline the Beast would date?
Yeah.
Not okay. So she would be your favorite in real
No,
life.
the author too.
She's- You're like the author too. We love her.
Yeah.
All right. Lisa, that character is tremendous.
She's like
She is
a
a tremendous
ball
character.
of like a whole bunch of things.
You know a lot of women like her.
Fun. She's
Talk about
charismatic. She's
mouthy also.
listen, I would say she a tramp. This is one of the reasons why Dom doesn't like her, which makes it really, really interesting.
Yeah.
She's one of the people that would try to influence over. Oh, you haven't been out. Da, da, da. Oh, he fucking up. Come out with me. Da, da. Oh, you should have a one night stand. She doesn't see any shame in her actions, right? So I would say that she's the. I think I'd put her at like 40. Like Sophia's like 33, Dom's 35, 36. She's 40. So she's like in the club all the time. She's the mouthy one. She's very opinionated, outspoken. Even with Dom, like when she would arrive at the house and
yeah, they go back and forth, right?
yeah. You know, so she's an interesting character, but you know, ride or die once again. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes
Yeah.
like it's that common denominator that keep people friends
Yeah.
and family. She is reliable. You know, the kids call her auntie or titi, tia. You know, so it's
She's very loyal too to Sophia.
yeah.
Yeah. You had said before that Sophia, you needed to do that paper trail about the cheating, right? Sophia had to. It has obviously it's a book, but has Dom ever cheated before that she caught him?
That's an interesting question. I
know.
I don't go back into their past like that as far as the relationship aspect.
Yeah.
Like I talk about maybe in Strong Bonds Never Break, when spoiler alert, Dom is in jail and the women now have to no choice but to work together. Sophia's giving Estrea some insight
Yeah.
on his childhood. So I did that to educate the readers on that, but not like, oh well, when we got together, we did this and no, I don't. I leave that blank.
Yeah.
So maybe in the film they can incorporate that, but Dom has actually been very monogamous with Sophia, from what the readers will see and stuff of that nature. Estrea is not a tramp. She's not a hit it quit it type chick. She's not a random.
Right.
Estrea is another relationship because Sophia and Dom have childhood sweethearts, high school sweethearts, whatever, kids. You know, they were teens, whatever. But he known her for like maybe a few years, college time.
Yeah, they were in college.
You know, so in college, maybe lost touch, got back into it, because you got to look at the age bracket too. You got to be smart, because people are gonna like try to challenge you. Wait a minute, if he's 36, you probably graduate college 22, 20, 23, maybe the latest if you went late.
And she has kids.
So wait a minute, that's over 10 years. How? So they got a longer relationship. So I make like a big gap, but I don't say that.
Right.
I say they met in college. Sophia and Dom didn't go to the same college. So we getting at it, because you got to understand, if they all went to the same college, they're going to know each other.
Yeah, it's making so much sense now to me that you're explaining it.
I know how
I always thought that they all went to the same college.
I know how the movie would be.
Amazing.
I would put things that are not in the book to kind of make it, because it can't be identical. It got to be a little bit of, give more clarity in the film. So when they go to the book, they be, oh, I see depth in literary content, but then I see more in the visual as,
Because there's gonna be people like us that be like, wait a second, how did they get to that? How did they jump there?
Because you got people like us who are critical thinkers. Even fictional things, we're gonna be scrutinizing the fucking film. That's not fucking real, guys. Come on, it's fiction. We don't have to make it real, but we're gonna be like that shit would never happen.
Yeah,
like at least make some type of shit look kind of real, at least.
Yeah.
So I did that with this, with the whole paper trail and everything like that. Like, yo, that shit is real.
Yeah,
It
there are
could
chicks that do
happen.
that. Hell yeah.
So I loved it because it really made me work. It was a challenge. It made me work. It made me think. It made me not be lazy and be like, well, this how I'm gonna make her catch him, blah, this, fight, whatever, threaten divorce. No, I'm gonna boil it up, because at some point she has to get so mad. Remember, the paper trail is doing it. It's not just one thing, but I mean, he's a club owner. He's this. He's out in real estate. He travels. It's probably happening, but he
He's
comes
good
home.
looking.
No, now it's like, oh, I'm seeing something consistent. So now it's building her frustration, because there has to be a blow up.
Yeah.
And that blow up, being that she's a hothead, is gonna be catastrophic for everybody. That was the plan. Like, don't fuck with a woman who's a hothead.
It's crazy.
Don't fuck with a woman who's a hothead or who's crazy, because she can put your life in danger. Because if she's a hothead, she's not gonna take direction, especially when she's being hot.
That's true.
We'll say that. You know what I'm saying? She's angry. It is when she is the most, you could say, even vulnerable. So she's not gonna care. She's not gonna care. Yo, well, whatever it is. Bringing us to the point where the pistol, she goes into the vault and arrives into his establishment, pushes her way through security. Boss, I'm sorry. She demanded to see you. Oh, it's okay.
Interesting.
Who's kitten?
That was such a good freaking part, man.
So Dom plays it off. What? What are you talking about? What, kitten? Who's kitten? Is that a name?
Dom's not the only one who plays it off too.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you have a favorite book?
Let's
Let's say out of the three, because this is like a trilogy on its own. You know what I mean? Do you have a favorite out of these three?
the Stuck Between Two Different Worlds.
Yeah. Why?
It's wild. Like, I debated with There's Still Unfinished Business and Stuck Between Two Different Worlds. But
What made this
the
one win?
reason why this one won was because a lot of people didn't know each other. Other books are more of a camaraderie, because there's a enemy that's outside, so it's forcing us as like strange bedfellows. It's forcing us to stick together and accomplish a goal, and then maybe after that we'll hate each other.
Yeah.
So now my enemy is your enemy.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
My friend. So in this regard, there was so many like action-packed events that I created in this one. There's more sex in it.
Oh yeah. That is one thing I noticed. As the stories went on with each book, the sex was less and less of these.
Because I didn't want people, especially women, to just want the book for that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be pigeonholed.
Because it's funny that we say that, because in one of the interviews that you did for the books, I remember we had gone a little bit early to to just, we're very early. We're prompt people. That's why we're business partners, because we think the same. We were on time, which was early for us. And we heard the two women that were on the panel to interview you, and they were like, there was like no, the sex scene was not for this book, for one of the other ones. like the sex scenes were like not there. Like how
They weren't that
compared to
much.
book
They
3
weren't
that
as
you
much.
that you wrote, the third book that he wrote, not from the trilogy, in all of them. Oh my
Oh,
God,
Discipline's World.
Lord, child,
Well, yeah,
ladies.
that is a
Mm-mm-mm.
that is a BDSM novel.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't want that. I didn't want this book to get lost with other books.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't want the other books to get lost with like those books like the first one, The Seduction of Discipline, Discipline's World. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mm-hmm.
wanted people to focus on the novel. I
Yeah.
wanted guys
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
like tap in. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you see a 50 Shades of Grey
Mm-hmm.
book, shout out to E.L. James. Excuse me, she's the author of that.
Well, the books were better than the movie.
Yeah, I really didn't read the books like that. Kind of skimmed through them. But when they see that, men will be like, chick book, chick flick, blah blah
Mm.
blah. You know, they don't tap in. So I wanted the men to tap in too. So I wanted a different audience. I wanted to bring a different audience. Um, so I got the best of both worlds. I got to bring many different audiences and still retain my integrity of the project
Mm-hmm.
and the principles and keep them true to themselves. Um, I love this part. There was so many good scenes in the book. Even when Sophia left the house and
Mm-hmm.
Dom went to
Looking for her.
looking for her,
Mm-hmm.
he went into the salon and you had a scene where one of the stylists walked up to him and was very flirtatious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how can I help you, whatever? And he shut her down. Yeah, I'm looking for my wife. Do you know? Oh, you
Mm-hmm.
don't? Yeah, so you can't be any use to me. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
So, you fucking asshole. Like, and then the head stylist is like, "Are you fucking crazy? That's the CEO's husband." Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. So even in that regard, he's not thinking with his dick. Like he's like, "Yo,
Right.
let me get my wife back." Like I'm not. So can we say, even in that regard, oh, he's just poly fucking everybody?
No,
Like,
definitely not.
so I think that you know, it was great even keeping in that integrity because that's how I would act.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Do you have ideas of actors and actresses that you like to play these characters?
yeah,
Would you play a character?
no. I don't want to
I
be
knew that. I knew that.
I don't want to be in the limelight.
Mm.
Like I don't like the attention. I don't care. I did a lot of stuff already. I
Mm-hmm.
acted in music videos. I did BDSM in music videos. I've been on cover of Ink magazines that you
Mm-hmm.
could Google or go to Barnes and Noble and find.
That's
Real
true.
shit. Go purchase
Yeah.
a physical copy. I've been like a multiple published author. I've been a multiple published model.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I introduced BDSM to this community.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I went on
And
the
you're on a
R&R
podcast.
show. R&R
Mm-hmm.
show in 2015 to 16.
Mm-hmm.
I've done so much. I don't care about individual accolades. I care about now putting other people on.
Yeah.
So I would be the director. Let me be behind the scenes, put my name in the credits and join. If they need a body, yes, because I'm muscular, maybe they could use my back.
Mm.
Maybe they could use my, like right here,
Mm-hmm.
abs and everything. Or I could
You
play
could
a
be an
mob
extra.
boss
Yeah.
or something or
Mm-hmm.
extra. But I would not want you to see me and I'm having scenes and doing a script of it. I could be great, but no, this is an opportunity to give up and coming people
Mm-hmm.
a chance. Like, why am I gonna take their shine? I could probably, no shade, do your job better part-time than you do it full. But why?
Mm.
I don't no, it's time to like boost them up.
Right. Give somebody else a chance.
Give them up. Like I had a fashion show and I could have been the model there. No, I was recording.
Mm-hmm.
I was behind the scenes. I shouted them out. Like I love doing that. I love being behind the scenes. I've accomplished so much things. I've done things that are unprecedented. That even a black man, white man get taken at face value. White women get taken at face value. They got the best opportunities there. We gotta fight. I've done things that breaking glass ceilings, the disruptor of the status quo.
That's true.
You know, so
So, with that being said, and with my last question, would you want famous names, or would you want, like how you said, to have somebody who's up and coming for these roles?
well, so let me put you into perspective now. Earlier, I talked about like certain budgets and stuff like that, right?
I got you.
So we got to look at it this way. If I get picked up by a major network, and obviously they're gonna ask me my input. Oh, who would you pick? It's gonna come down to now contracts, negotiating
How
what they
much?
want.
Right.
So, for example, I don't really like to name people, but mm, make up your mind. So let's say somebody, and they're like, no, I will only do this $15,000 an episode. If you're doing a mini series,
I see.
that's my minimum. And it's like, well, the budget doesn't require that. But if it's like maybe Netflix or whatever it is, they're like, okay, the budget requires that. Then I wouldn't have a problem. Because you
Right.
got to understand too, their fan base is going to bring it over.
Yeah, of course.
But at the end of the day, it's still principle. So I will cut the A-list celebrity and sacrifice their millions of fans. Give somebody who's better. So let me give you an example. Cause I'm this. I value hard work. That person that says I'm gonna do 15,000 an episode, say they don't want to disrespect me, but in their mind they're like, who the fuck is him? I never heard of him before.
Yeah,
This don't deserve me to work hard.
right. So they'll like half-ass it.
So now I'm like telling the director, yo, I don't feel it. I don't feel the passion. I don't feel like this person's to play Sophia. I don't feel like this person's to play Estrea. I don't feel like this person's to play Dom. Let's get the one that's independent, up and coming, and they do a way better job than them.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And let's pay them that.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they have their own, like, oh, I'm willing to do it for 6,000 an episode, or you know what I'm saying, whatever it is. Or maybe it's just one film. It's not a series. It's a film, and they're like, okay, pay me this up front.
Right.
Or whatever. Or I'll take a signing bonus. And then whatever it is. So it comes down to that, because I swear to God, I'm gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just gonna be like, all right, like I got my money. I'll be. Tell me
Right.
when.
This
Tell
is
me
your
when the movie.
baby.
Tell me when the movie's done. No, I'm
Mhm.
gonna go on vacation. No, I'm gonna be right there too. This is cool. Now I'm gonna be looking.
No.
And I didn't like that part. What did you think? And just like editing, like I
You're
could
gonna
pay. I could pay an editor.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't got the bread. We don't got the bread. We could pay, but I gotta be in there with the room with you. And when you send it to me, I gotta. Oh, I don't like this part. Send it back. Now it's time consuming. Now you gotta do it again. Now you gotta do it again. Do you know when to make the books pop up? Oh, you don't know. I might as well do it myself. I'm paying you, but then I'm adding to it.
Right.
So I should pay you less. So why am I gonna pay you $300 when I'm doing some
Most of
cuts
it.
too and additions? So I should pay you $150 then, because I'm working.
I could totally see you screaming "cut" before
Yeah.
the director.
Yeah.
Cut. That's all wrong. That's all
Yeah,
wrong. I didn't
and
like
this
it
is
at all.
this is the intrinsic. This is the intrinsic nature I'm talking about, right? Like I'm a dominant, so I exercise control in all things. Some people could think that's a bad thing. Some people could think it's a good thing. The people that think it's a good thing, they like it because it's like, even if they're on my team, they're gonna be in good hands because everything is planned out. That's part of control. Everything is this. Oh, we're not gonna be late here. We're gonna do this. Blah blah blah. It's gonna be in order. It's gonna be calculated. You know what I'm saying? In that regard, there's gonna be discipline. There's gonna be accountability. Versus, oh, let's wing it. Let's just
Yeah, that's awful. I hate when there's
let's just go with the flow.
no.
Let's go with the flow and see what happens. Let's roll the dice. Flip the coin. Heads or tails.
Yeah.
So I think that that's my nature. And I can't get away from it, even if people are like, you should try something different. I'm trying a lot of different things. But that will always stay with
That
me.
would be there. Yeah.
That will always stay with me. One of the most different things I've tried was actually talking about this lifestyle. I talked about this like when I went to that show in 2016.
I was gonna
Like I
say,
was
like on an
reluctant.
interview. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was something that I did was different. So
Mm.
it's good to do different things, but always stay true to you.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's important. Don't do something different and then completely change.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're an actor or actress and you think that you can bring to life any of these roles, do you mind if I tell them this?
What?
I know back in the days, actors and actresses used to have to go in, and I'm sure people still do it, would have to go in and read for the director.
Mm.
But a lot of times with your smartphone, pick up one of the books, figure out which character you think you would be really good at, do a role, do a thing. What is that called? Do a
Monologue.
right. Do like an acting scene, a scene. That was the word.
Mm.
Do a scene and send it to him. You could DM him. You could give it to you could send it through email or any of that
Mm.
stuff. You know what I mean? Because this is something that he is very passionate about. Obviously, he wrote 7 books. He wrote 3, for this specific storyline. And I don't want to speak for you, but you'd be happy and willing to look over those things, right?
Absolutely.
Do it, people. Get your phones out
Yeah.
if that's what you want to do.
It's not about having a film that, whether it's in theaters or it's on these platforms, like virtual platforms and things, Tubi and
Mhm.
YouTube and Apple TV and Hulu and stuff, these networks. It's not about that. Stars, perhaps HBO.
Mhm.
It's not about having all these people watch it. Like, I know the people that are investing, the executives and stuff, they want the ratings. They want the
Mhm.
ticket sales. They need it. And I'm gonna get kickbacks off that too, obviously. It's not about that so much. It's about having like a masterpiece.
Mhm.
So there's masterpieces out there that a lot of people don't know about.
Yep, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm open to both.
Mhm.
I'm open to the big screen Hollywood and then the independent realm. I'm open to both. It just gotta be right.
Right.
It just gotta be right. It's not even about, well, I demand 66 million and it gotta be in this. What? That's entitlement.
Mhm.
Like, what have I done?
Wrote
Let me
7 books.
work here and then get this. You know what I'm saying? And whatever it is. If I get fortunate to do, I'm not saying that can't happen the
Right,
first
right.
part of the big screen. That could
Of
happen.
course.
But it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be successful. So now we gotta make we gotta do a remake, or we gotta
Mhm.
do a sequel, and it goes and it now travels into the independent realm,
Mhm.
and it does better.
Yeah.
So it's not really about that. I don't care about the clout. They probably do because they're looking at that as translating into money.
Mhm.
But it's more about the masterpiece of it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it comes down to. You know, this is part of my legacy too.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
It's a
saying?
damn
And it's
good
like
one.
it's checking off everything off the list. And it's
Mhm.
like the final thing is like kids, marriage. And it's like now you got all these things that is like
That you put in
for
place.
when you are no longer here, that
Mhm.
will thrive and continue to go. Mold your spirit. I always tell people too,
Mhm.
when you mold your spirit, that lasts longer.
Yep.
It
Definitely.
travels into other people, speaks through you what other people need to hear. It goes out there and makes the world a better place. When you don't mold your spirit, you're done. You're die. Your spirit disintegrates.
Yep.
You're
It's
not
lost.
known.
Yep. That's very true.
You know. So
So for the last part that I said, if you are interested in, sending a scene or whatever, he will have the where you can send it to below the video.
Yeah, so there's a lot of scenes that I didn't even get to in this book. Uh, it's so good. Um, there's so many twists to it. There's so many scenes where even Dom is getting um Dom is getting saved by Sophia, and maybe men or women might not think he deserves it.
Mm,
For
true.
one example, the scene, spoiler alert, the crooked cops arrive to the hospital.
Mm-hmm. And this is
And
after she finds out.
he
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go to that specific one because nobody will touch me but Estrea. And that's when they meet. Wait a minute. She's a little bit too good with your wound.
Mm.
Wait, she looks familiar. I've seen her somewhere.
And didn't she call him she called him by his name or by the nickname she has for him? I can't remember. The hospital. That Sophia was like, what?
I don't remember.
I don't
If
remember either.
I don't even think I put that in there.
No?
Maybe not. I don't know. I have to go back and read it.
Oh no, but he texted her that he got hurt and he was on her way because she was expecting him. Ah, there it is. Okay.
He made her call. He made Sophia call. Who is this? Who is it? Don't just let's go. Let's just go. Cause the whole thing with
That
the
was so
capo
good.
of them going back over there, she had his back then because he would have
Mhm.
been killed. So she had to turn her masculine up, use that little seductive nature to take care of the guard at the door.
Yep.
Right? Little girl like that taking care of that 6'4" guy. How'd she do that?
Mhm.
Had to show that. Then she helps him out there. And then even when she finds out, most women would think retaliation, which is an irony because she lacks emotional intelligence. She's a
Mhm.
hothead. But what does she think? The major component of what brings them together? Family. Protect the
Mhm.
family. So she's not now, now that emotional intelligence is intact to be fake and cordial for that.
Mhm.
Oh, what happened to his shoulder? Oh, my husband's clumsy. So she still even throws that in there.
Mhm.
Get back at you a little bit. My husband's clumsy. We were jet skiing. Hurt his shoulder. That's why he's
Yeah.
in a sling. But she's quick, had a back, street smart.
Yeah.
The Bonnie and Clyde thing. Estella probably wouldn't be able to do that.
Not think so fast on her toes yet.
Yeah, would have been like scared. I
Mhm.
don't know, tell the truth.
Mhm.
So in that regard, it's like that identity of the ride or die, boom, it comes into fruition, but people could see it. I'm not just introducing them in the beginning of the character analysis. They are witnessing it through
Mhm.
events.
Yeah.
Yo,
That's true.
she ride or die. God damn, he don't deserve it. But in that regard, he
That's
did it.
true.
Me, do I think he deserves it? Yeah, he does. You his wife. But I mean, on the outside looking in,
Yeah.
they're gonna think, oh, he's doing all this fucked up shit with her, doing this, whatever it is. What he deserves is for her to throw him under the bus.
Mm.
And
A lot of people thought
and
that.
the reality is, she when she finds out who the guy was, that's another thing too of protecting the family. Because if I throw him under the bus, this is not what I added in there in the book. If I throw him under the bus, because I'm thinking this when I'm writing it, if I throw him under the bus, they're gonna take him, and if they're on the payroll of the blah blah blah,
Mhm.
they're gonna execute him.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
see how that goes back full circle? Now she's calculating, but I don't write it in there. I'm just thinking it of how
Right.
I'm gonna write the
Right.
scene
Right.
to make her be ride or die.
Yeah.
So Estella is not from the street.
Right.
She's not from that. Even though they might have similar characteristics as far as that assertive ambition level and mindset, she wouldn't know how to handle that pressure situation.
Mm.
She's more feminine. So it's like, is it beneficial to have a masculine woman and a feminine woman? No. I think to have both women in their feminine is the key, but they gotta also know when to use their masculine. Just like a man. A
Mm-hmm.
man can't just know how to use his masculine. He has to, and this is just my perspective only.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't have to listen to me. Maybe y'all be put in certain circumstances where you will listen to me. But one or two circumstances where it will be okay for him to be in his feminine nature to protect the woman, to have compassion and stuff of that nature, empathy, and love her,
Mm.
because he got to be in his feminine to do that right. Affection, words of affirmation and stuff of that nature make her feel good, especially if it's warranted, like she
Mm.
deserve it. I'm not telling you to just validating her and simping and she's playing you, and no, you don't. She don't deserve those kind
No,
words.
it has to be well deserved.
Yeah, so in regards to that, it's like we should know how to balance, and if we don't know, taught. So a man can't really protect and love his woman right if he's just highly in his masculine, and he has to be able to balance, because there's going to be circumstances, especially if this is a long-term relationship. Long-term relationship means y'all going to go through a lot of shit,
Yep.
different shit. So in that regard, the other shit, you got to know how to do it. She might not always be always up to par. She might come to you crying one day. You got to be able to know how to handle that. That's a feminine woman. So if you a masculine dude, oh, yo, shut up, bitch. Like, all you fucking doing is crying all the time or whatever it is. You making my ears hurt or whatever it is. Versus, listen, come over here. Like, let's figure this stuff out. Why are you crying? Maybe she needs you to hold her. You don't even need to say anything. Like, observe the circumstance and work
Mm.
off that. You're the leader as a man, so observe the circumstance. Have her follow you. Come here. Come here. Let me give you a hug. Come here. Let me hold your hand. We walking in the street right now. I'm gonna walk on the side of the traffic. But if you in your masculine, you're like, you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, or maybe we could say alpha, because masculine is divine, but you got to understand to balance that. Divine, when a man is in his divine masculine, he's balancing both.
Were you always like that, or is this something that you learned along the way?
Always like what?
Thinking like that. That if you're the man, you have to be, balanced, and you need to know when to bring in or bring up your feminine to
No,
whatever you said. No,
no,
you weren't like
because
that.
there were part or a part in my life where I was emotionally unavailable.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to be emotionally available to be able to, incorporate these things and be in tune. So I think people in general should learn how to master both.
Yeah.
And that would help you, operate well, especially in the relationship dynamic. You know, um, what I'm saying, that it would make it last too. So I think that when you can't, it's hard. Like,
Mm.
like circumstances like that. Um, if your woman can't like get in her masculine a little bit, and masculine when she's turning up could be she's cooking, cleaning, multitasking. I got two things on the stove. I'm watching this. Okay, I got this. I got a timer for here for the cooking. Boom, the kids. I'm gonna straddle him or whatever. He's crying. Like, she's she's productive. Masculine's productive. If she's not able to do that, she's just watching TV all day. I'm a housewife. I'm lazy. I'm real feminine. Let me get my nails done for him and look pretty. I'll wait for him to come home to work, and then, I'll give it to him or whatever. If she's just doing that, like, keep her out of your shit. Keep her out of his shit. You can't even have her as your second eyes when you're going out.
Mm.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
Just keep her away from stuff like that. I'm breaking it down. I'm helping them out if they cannot be. But nowadays, it's gonna be a lot easier to find women that do both. It's just they need help having the feminine more than the masculine.
Mm.
Today, they're pushing their masculine higher and their feminine is low. The only time a lot of these boss babes are feminine is probably when it's, oh, well, it's time to pamper myself now.
Mhm.
It's um what else? It's maybe they're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna watch this reality show. Oh, I'm gonna I'm gonna cook and clean and take care of these kids
I
and
thought that was masculine.
hear their
Oh, that
worries
is
and
masculine.
you had a bad time at school. Sit down. Let's think about it. What happened? Oh, don't be mad. Like, that's feminine. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine if they are they just can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it has to be taught. So I think if we can teach this, then people will learn how to operate well with each other. It's also
Yeah, I
communication
agree.
too.
Mm-hmm.
So, like put this out there. Like me, I put things out there with my significant other or others. I'm gonna make them identify. You're being masculine right now. I'm gonna tell you what that means. I need more feminine. I know you got it in you. I need more feminine. I've seen you do it. Now you make her identify because you're not just saying masculine and feminine. You're giving examples.
Mm-hmm. That's good because a lot of people need examples.
So now they can understand. I'm not
Mhm.
saying for the woman to do that to the man. It's an epic failure. But there's men like me to teach the men. Don't tell him. Let me tell him
How would they
how to
get?
be masculine.
How would somebody do that?
When it's time for him to turn his feminine up or be in his feminine side or in tune with his feminine side. You know what I'm saying? When is the right times? Like me, I would tell him, not the woman. He gonna grow resentment. When men don't respect female bosses.
Mm.
So if you're trying to be a boss in a dynamic, you don't even have to say I'm a boss. The way you act, he's gonna just grow resentment by his nature.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I believe that.
So it's very important to us to get back into our biology and what we were born
Mm-hmm.
and find God. Season 18 premiere to be announced. We're working on some dates, maybe May 15th, maybe May 22nd. We'll see. So between those, it's always gonna be a Thursday. I know disciplinary Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
We just made your Thursdays a lot more interesting. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, you were tuned into one of the most raw, uncut, unapologetic. Once again, this was like a season special edition episode. Um, with the one and only, unique, unheralded, but soon to be heralded, the Discipline Therapy Podcast. Peace.
We all came from a woman, carried, molded, birthed because of her. But none of us begins without a man's seed. That balance, man and woman, it's the jumpstart to life. But what happens when we question the rules that shape us? Stuck between two different worlds dives into the deep cracks beneath society's expectations. Monogamy, love, marriage. Were we really meant to be with one person forever? Or are we just playing roles we've been programmed to believe? 70% of women don't love their husbands. They love the idea of marriage. And men? Many just chase the thrill and then stay for convenience. Where's the truth? Where's the real connection? We flirt with our thoughts. We cheat with our eyes. We dream of others while lying beside our forever. Who made these rules? Religion? Government? Or society afraid of freedom? This book doesn't give you all the answers, but it asks the questions most are too afraid to face. Can you love more than one? Can she have two soulmates? What if the truth isn't what we were taught?